Time to press the button, my friend.
Oh, it's
This,
audible.
this arrow on the clicker. And tell us about lateral movements in it.
Yeah, I'll try to. Everyone, I hope everybody is awake so far. A lot of identity jargon has been thrown on all of us. And I won't take, I'm not going to make things more complicated. So that's the reason I've taken a topic which is lateral movement. I think most of us are already familiar with that, but not like me, who was an accidental sales engineer. I was so happy doing my lot of R&D in my good old days. And some of the behavior that I exhibited, if today somebody would have known, I would be the first victim. Everybody remember doing something like, Prince of Nigeria has found you, has sent you an email, here are $100 million, right? Same things. Oh shit, it's all good. So this is what, we're going to talk about it. What is the lateral movement, and why it is mattering, and what are the ways that we have to do to defend against it? Lateral movement and ransomware, they are like one of the best friends. The way lateral ransomware has got a great visibility across the world. Every laurel about the malicious attacker, go on the dark web, you'll find a truckload of them. And that's where you'll find ransomware, the best buddy. Good old days, back in 2013 or before that, ransomware was typically more like a nuisance. As an example, I said, in fact, I was the one of them who received an email that Nigerian prince have found you, got $100 million and a car. Just click on this link, fill in your details, and we'll be sending you straight away. And I clicked on it. Honestly, being as a software developer, I clicked on it. Last thing I needed was have to present in front of my IT security team and tell them, shit, what the earth you've done in this world to receive $100 million from a Nigerian prince, right? Exactly. But the resolution was just they took away my laptop, reimaged it, and told me not to do it again, otherwise you have to reimage 100 times yourself, right? Good thing is, way back in in 2016 onwards, I stopped doing all the R&D because I thought I would be a terrible programmer than to try something different. And that's when this NotPetya or WannaCry, these things came through. He was not the coder. And this is the time when the attackers become more sophisticated. They employed the lateral movement techniques so that the extent of damage could be significant. And if we take back today, like 2021 to 2024, almost 82%, more than 80% of like ransomware attacks, any attack that you pull out of your history, they'll have some form of lateral movement, and that has put the businesses on a significant risk. What you need is just somebody to click on a link. Everybody loves Nigerian prince. So if you think from a traditional ransomware graph, like good old times, if like there's a one fan, click on those link, level of infection, the damage could be a little bit less. Maybe one or two machines could be more. But if you scale it back today with a lateral movement, where it doesn't have to execute, it just moves the payloads across multiple places, and the damages could be catastrophic, and which puts all the businesses at a highly critical risk. What those attackers today need is just one window of opportunity. If all we need is we have got an amazing perimeter defense, like multiple layers of firewalls, IPSs, good old technologies that we talk about. What they need is a single entry. Rest all the job is done. So when we talk about like a ransomware, we've spoken about the lateral movement. What exactly is a lateral movement? The lateral movement is best friend of ransomware, yes. But apart from that, we all know that the huge infrastructure footprint that we have, that makes lateral movement to move easily. And one of the core factors is Active Directory, which is like one of the identity provider in our environment, right? Which is considered one of the biggest real estate of all the enterprises that we normally work out, except some of the newborn who love Go Cloud, yes. But still you have a hybrid approach, hybrid environment, you still have it. Using the single weakness, if you see there's a user account, any user within the organization, what Active Directory understands is username and passwords, that's all. It cannot differentiate that if somebody's identity has been compromised and then they're trying to log in, right? What they do is just simply log in. And what happens is once they log in and they, as part of the lateral movement, will spread across because it'll infect one machine and then it'll just move laterally by deploying the payloads across your environment, and they'll keep on doing it until everybody gets the jackpot. Why it is more important, why it is so relevant is because you, there are certain tools and technologies. We have got a lot of state of, infrastructure and security controls in place. But what left behind is an identity. Still, there are big fans around it, right? And when it gets compromised, and there are a lot of, the Microsoft has summed up really amazing in one of the reports recently and last year, and it comes at every year and year. That attackers, they simply log in. They buy some credentials from the web, and now they don't have to become a skillful, attackers. They just have got some money, go to the dark web, get some, credentials stolen, a lot of database, like 500,000, maybe, and you also get the support. There are a lot of access brokers. I'm really surprised reading some of the, news, even the abc.com. They're talking about the access brokers, wherein you can just take a ransomware as a service and just, you can start those subscriptions somewhere around $5,000 a month. It's even cheaper than a lot of security controls that we say. They'll give you full support till you break, and you have to share some, bounty that you get out of it. So, forgot, this is sneaky around the service accounts. How many of you would have challenges, have heard about the service accounts? Always stay low, nobody knows about it, but they get the big bucks of the money, right? So, let's talk about the Uber attack flow. I think many of us have heard about the Uber attack flow. Is anyone who's there who's not heard about the Uber attack? Anyone? Perfect, my job is done. In this case, typically, one of the users' identity was compromised more from a social engineering attack. Maybe you're sipping a coffee or having a beer somewhere, and he was being bombarded with a lot of MFA requests. And suddenly he thought he would have done something, approved it. Now, once it's approved, attackers simply gained access to their first step, and once you're in, there was no secondary challenge. There was nothing inside the environment which could stop or deter that particular attacker. He got a free pass, free ticket. The attacker simply went onto the shared drives, downloaded all the critical company secrets, and also included the passwords and the critical systems from their vault. From there, once he got it, then it was not no secrets anymore. He was able to move freely, and the results we all know about it. So the main challenge here in this case is they only need to break at the first defense. After that, and that's what using lateral movement, there was no secondary challenge being thrown to the user. Then we have to think from ourselves, what is missing here? Because of the current age, you need to have a continuous access evolution in each and every step of the authentication pattern or the access, and that we're using. Regardless of, we've got a lot of state of control of, defense. MFA does an amazing job, because it helps us to decouple the singular dependencies on the passwords, something you have like a token, or like Ubiquitous or the FIDO2 tokens that we have today, right? Or could be Microsoft Authenticator, some other thing apart from the passwords. PAM, an amazing solution. But like Brad working with Silverford, I've worked with CyberArk, like PAM, great solutions. They're amazing solution. What is the issue? Because these has been there from ages, but still we are seeing most of the attacks still happen in the organization where some of these controls are still available. So what my company did is we invested in some interesting research. We reached out to almost 600 or 700 plus identity security experts across the globe, and I think this report is already available it's free, free. You can just download it. And what we found was MFA and PAM is there, but the biggest challenge is their coverage. There are a lot of technological reasons and economical, commercial reasons where you cannot spread those technologies. There are a lot of gaps which they don't support. And one of the real estate they're talking about was Active Directory earlier, which don't support traditionally MFA. That was developed 20 years ago. Most people talk about, user and password, all good. You're my best friend. And some of them was talking about in the morning, like AD domain controller administrator is my best friend. I'll take him for a coffee. I'll ask him to add me into a domain administrator group. My job is done. So there's interesting facts. One of them, which basically always throws me away, is only 6.7%, like less than 10% of MFA proliferation across your environment. When there are a lot of tools available, a lot of applications are available, still there's a big gap. From a PAM, which is obviously I've seen quite a long journey, honestly, and it's an amazing tool. I'm not saying that it's a bad, it's an amazing tool, but how much is the coverage? How much you're able to invest in that, the time, effort, and all. And again, if you fully implement it, there's still some gaps. And these are some of the gaps that, we talk a lot about, like, command line interfaces, like, PowerShells, which is one of the biggest vector, which has been emerged as a single winner beyond by huge margins than any other attack vector. A big conduit on the lateral movements, right? And that's where, this is quite a funny slide that I've speak to a lot of people in the industry, and they say, I've got a lot of these tools. Am I protected? Really? And then the reality is, these are the tools or the interfaces which says, oh shit, I was living in an oblivious world. Service accounts, legacy applications, the file shares, the P drives, M drives, love using those P drives to store all the company secrets. Like a few years back, I was even storing my favorite lasagna recipe as well on that, waiting for it to be optimized. So if these tools are so effective, then what's the challenges? And these are the biggest gaps, which is the main reason of these particular cyber attacks, which are happening at alarming pace. And what these things is like, attackers, as I said, like they don't need to attack us. They just need to log into these interfaces and get the things done. So what the need of R today is, you have the amazing controls in place. What we need to do is we have to identify those gaps and extend the reach of those particular security controls across these gaps, which means how you can able to extend your existing MFAs everywhere. Or like from a PAM perspective, think about the least privilege model, wherein why do you need a finance person to connect to your critical domain controllers? Why do you need that? Or lasagna recipe, they don't need that. So these are some of the challenges that we need to address today. And apart from that, service accounts, which is like one of the key issues in my career as a developer. I was one of the most sneaky ones. Today, if somebody they would caught me in a prison, honestly. Always try to find some of the easiest, service accounts to check in my code so that nobody will know about it. If I've done something shitty wrong code, something's wrong, and somebody does this penetration testing, I'm gone. But now, we need to find a way how you can continuously evaluate and monitor those particular service account and non-human identities across your environment. The biggest challenge lies behind the visibility. This particular image gives me a great sense of more like a Jarvis of an Iron Man. There's a big sense, a lot of connecting dots, but there's no visibility that we have to see today, right? And once we have a clear visibility, then create a particular way of talking more like the fencing approach by not only improving your security controls, but the hygiene. And we can talk more about it, understand, because Adrian has clearly told me not to talk about the product. So that's the reason. So this is what you have to create those automated environment through which you can further bolster current security defenses and furthermore. And if you're able to achieve that, that will be in nirvana state of achieving a maximum control on the lateral movement. I think I've spoken enough. I've tried to be on time. So any questions? Anything?
Probably got time for just one, if there are anyway. If not, I'll take that time back. Thank you very much, Sunit.
Thank you.
Very nice work. Thank you very much. Now, folks, we will have a very short break now while we mic up our next three speakers, but I'll ask you please just stay in this room because it's too hard to get everyone to come back. So feel free to stand up, stretch